Welcome to Fans Voice TV, Wednesday Night Live, not Monday Night Live. I'm here with Kieran O'Reilly, who was a great mentor to me in the game. Do you remember back years ago playing with Cove?
Jeez, that's a happy days, isn't it? Yeah, I do. Absolutely remember what type of player you were. There's no doubt you didn't change any mentality wise. But player wise, yeah, you would definitely want to stood out. I think you'll have to remind me now dates and things when you first came into the club, because I'm brutal with dates. But I do remember when you first came into the senior side of things there. Dave Hill was manager time with Cabes on last week, and he mentioned a few things. But you came in as a centre back, but you always cried that you wanted to be a midfielder, am I right?
Cried massively. Shouldn't have done it. But anyway, look, it's about you tonight. And for one thing, you were a mentor to me. You were the first time we came down. We were young, and the first experience of banter in a men's dressing room, but never really kind of got to know you and where you came from. You were such a fantastic player. I mean, you'd power, you'd pace, great finisher. But where did it all start? Like?
I suppose my journey started down in, Ringman. It's funny that it started there and I kind of finished there, really, as we get on later on, speak with the management side of things. But I started on Ringman when I was a young lad, I suppose, under, when you think back to, I suppose, John Langton, John Fitzgerald, a massive figure in the club back then and still is. But yeah, I suppose under eights and all of it through then to, I suppose, you had a good schoolboy career down there. Came to the stage where Stevie O'Mahony was down there, a well-known recognised FAI coach. So he was a senior manager. I think I was 15, 16 at the time, and he introduced me to the senior side of things down there. And after that, then I suppose it was what it was. Then I moved around a few senior clubs and ended up in Cove.
Did you play senior at 15, 16?
Yeah, I was 16 at the time, yeah. And Stevie Manny was there, as I say. And to be fair, and I think Stevie, still to this day, he loves working with, I suppose, good footballing kids. And I suppose he gave me an opportunity when I was that young, yeah. He obviously saw something in me,
Yes, Steve has been around years, and he's been another mentor to me towards coaching and even playing that time as well. And he's brilliant working with the FEI, and he's going up. But isn't it weird now? You see, like I played senior as well at 16, but it's rare you'll see a 15, 16-year-old playing senior now.
No, and you know what? I wouldn't put it down to the fact that the player's not good enough. I just put it down to the fact that maybe the managers just don't seem to give the young boys that chance. When. I suppose, look, there could be a debate about this if you wanted to have it, but I'm coming from a different side of things here, and I think you were the same, because when you go through the coaching side of things and you go to the high level with the country staffer, obviously you went to further field to England, you see the side of things where, okay, if he's good enough, give him a chance. But I think around the months of senior league, no disrespect to it, I think they like to have this side of things where, go play a bit of junior first and then try to get the feel of the physical side of things. But I think, in that opinion, if that came to me, I think young players, again, this is my opinion, they'll pick up too many bad habits playing the junior league rather than sticking around the senior league and playing with better players and better standard, and that's where they'll flourish from,
Yeah, and what age did you end up going to Cove yourself?
Jesus, I give away an age now, will I? I think it was I 21, that kind of way, 2021, that kind of way, is when I went back to Cove. Or when I first started with Cove, yeah.
And then you left there when you were 40.
Still there in spirit, still there in mind, but yeah, do you know what? I suppose I'll never leave Cove really, because it's always been a fantastic club to me. It's a special place to me. I had fantastic times there. I suppose my best times in football as a player were there. So yeah, I think, look, off the top of my head, I think in nearly 10 years playing there, and I went into coaching and managing there for 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, Cove, you had a great time. You were in the league winning team that time, weren't you?
Yeah, we won 2007, we won the league under Stephen Henderson. Not a fantastic manager in my opinion, great coach, and you can only see why he is, because he's gone on to his pro licence this year and got it, and credit to him, he deserves that. But yeah, in 2007, if I think back now, it was probably one of the most memorable times of again my football career as a player, in the terms of, what did we do? I think we started that season, if I go through, I think we lost the first 2 games. I think we weren't even playing in Coleman's Park at the time. I think we had to use Turner's Cross because the Cove pitch was being done up or something along the lines of that. But after that, then I think we went on a 27 game unbeaten run. which put us in a position where we were fighting with the title with Finn Harps. And yeah, towards the end of the season, we ended up as league champions. Yeah,
it's unreal. Just saying it there. You had an unreal squad, but do you know what? I didn't know. Like, I just get a bit closer there because my hand is bait. I'm not as strong as I used to be. But yeah, like 27 on game unbeaten run, and then you're still scrapping the title out. That's unbelievable. Like, yeah. So look, again, any questions out there, get them into Kieran. We'll tip away. As you said, you went into coaching then, and what did you decide? You've done your badges. You're a licensed coach there now, and just tell us a little bit about that journey. Obviously, coming from a player league.
Yeah, well, I suppose I suppose it was the year. It was a pity of a year to be fair, because we got into the Premier League that year in 2008. It didn't go as well as what we thought it would have. Unfortunately, the financial side of things kind of broke down, and the club was under pressure, and we just couldn't sustain paying players, so things were going a bit wrong in the background. So what happened there is that the club got relegated in 2008-2009 season. Unfortunately, I picked up a lot of injuries on the way, getting a few hip jobs done and what have you, as people know around the place. But so after that, then I kind of knew it was come to the end. I was kind of done towards the end of the year, 08-09 season, and I decided, okay, I like the game. So I decided, all right, I'll go in and do a bit of coaching, because again, I had young boys coming through, so I wanted to give a little bit back to them. But even in the meantime, anyway, I was coaching down Ringman at a schoolboy level. So I said, okay, I didn't just want to come in here and I suppose be a coach or be a person at the time, because I wasn't a coach. That was going to, I suppose, pass on, I suppose, things that I learned along the way that I felt wasn't beneficial to players that age. So what I'm trying to say is that I didn't want to be coming down from a League of Ireland level at a very high level and passing League of Ireland training sessions on to, I suppose, players that are maybe 12, 13 years of age, or just too advanced. So I wanted to get the feel of what it was those players needed. So again, I go back to this man. I spoke to Steve O'Mahony about doing my coaching badges, and I think it is to this day, and back then you could actually skip the first two. I think it was the kickstarts to go straight to them. Was the youth at the time. I think it's a C license now. But he said, look, do you know what, no, don't go back and do them. It'll be the best thing for you. And he was right, credit to him that I done those. And do you know what, I just got the love of it. So I wanted to coach. And to be fair, I had a very, very successful Ringman schoolboys team. Well, a few of them actually, to be fair. But there was one team stood out really. They won a lot with me, a lot of trophies, a lot of leagues, and obviously with the help of other managers along the way with me. But and then that brought me to my A level, which kicked me onto the senior side of managing, yeah.
And there's a huge step up there, obviously, but it's the journey that counts as well. And you kind of, as you said, you went back to schoolboys, you learn your trade, and it does prepare you then for the senior side when you went into it.
Absolutely, it does, because I suppose, look, it'll be difficult to go in, as you know very well, being a manager yourself now. Sorry, coach.
Get that right, will you? I'm coach. There's no managers out there. Managers are fellas that run bars.
But yeah, it's, do you know what now, I suppose in any walk of life, you've got to walk before you can run, and I suppose to make all those little errors that you need to get out of the way before going at the senior level, I thought, I had an opportunity to make them with schoolboys. Not that I was intentionally making them, but it just gave me an insight into say, okay, now you're going to the senior level, okay, you've had a nice backing in the sense of what you done wrong then, you're not going to bring to the senior side of things, and it made that little bit transition that little bit easier for me when I did get into the senior side of things, yeah.
Yeah, because you do realise that as manager or coach that the journey does help, and you look then at probably Ryan Giggs there, Roy Keane, Stephen Gerrard, going from playing and then straight into big managers' jobs like that. There is a learning curve there, and sometimes you get away with it, but sometimes you don't. Then, and maybe they should all kind of go back to go to a younger team or go to a team lower down that you can practice and get your mistakes out of the way.
Absolutely, I suppose you see that with Gerrard. I think Gerrard took the 21s, 23s with Liverpool that time before he took the step up to Rangers. So yeah, so again, I think he probably done it the right way. I think he was around the academy a lot anyway, come towards the end of his career. Not too sure Lampard went straight to Derby, but again, I suppose, look, these boys had the opportunity to work with the best managers in the world, Not saying the Liverpool manager is the best in the world, you know. Obviously with the Chelsea ones they would be. But watch the tweets. Watch him coming in here now. No, but at the same time, okay, look, I suppose they had an understanding of what they picked up along the ways, you know, which made it more easier for them, you know, to pass on to the teams that they're with now. And you can see that already, you know, the way Gerrard is with Rangers, he's doing so well, you know. Hopefully that collapse. But at the same time, you know, you can see even the weekend, you know, the mentor against I suppose the student Mourinho and Lampard last week. And since Lampard's now also doing so well, so look, again, I suppose that comes back to the side of things of us players, myself and you included. That when we were playing at the highest level this country to offer, obviously you went to England and you would have seen what other managers had to offer there. So it gave us an insight too into what to bring back to the leagues here and to the younger players and to guide them into a direction where it can only benefit them.
That's it. Look, and the experience, you probably didn't know it at the time, but it started when us young lads at Cove came into the team and you took us under your wing. You know, there was no jealousy, there was no bitterness. You just wanted to see us do well, and that means an awful lot. And sometimes they don't get that nowadays because it's very young teams. But they have to look to coaches and the managers. And you're saying Stephen Henderson, Cove, he is doing a fantastic job. But he's a great mentor as well. Anyway, on the book side of things, so we have the coaching book that you wrote, which is, here we go. So I spoke to you, I'd say about half a year ago there now, and we were speaking about coaching. You told me you'd read a book, and you were so passionate about it, and the way you spoke about the coaching book, you know, kind of drew me in, and you can just see your love for it. And I just want you to explain, like, your reasoning behind the book and why you wrote it. I mean, obviously you're passionate about it, but
yeah, well, I suppose it got to the side of things where, you know, I was after finishing up at Ringman after, I suppose, 3 very, very successful years, to be fair, over there, you know. And it'd be nice to give them a mention as well with the 3 years I had, because I had a fantastic team there, fantastic backing from the club. It's a brilliant club. Look, it's very easy to be biased here, but again, I've experienced it, and it's probably one of the best running senior league clubs around that I know of, and you know, I haven't seen anyone's yet. That's not to say I won't.
No, to be fair, they're a very good club. Anytime I've been out there, they do everything right, and as well, they'll probably be the first senior league side. They'll be full time, because they all seem to get jobs out of it. So you might as well just get them playing as well while they're working. Like,
yeah, I think they might have an Abramovich down the ring, man. There, yeah, they might. But look, do you know what? I think that's gone on the year in the league for years. Any people helping people out with jobs or have you. So look, I suppose it's like a wheel that just goes around. Yeah, but I suppose getting back to the book, the book, I suppose, again, coaching is a love of mine. There's no doubt about that. You can see it in me when I'm at games, and you know, even though I might be involved in games, I'm still kind of nearly over the fence, and even though I'm watching a game, I'm actually organising the game in my head, how things should go and shouldn't go. So when I finished playing at Ringman after those, managing Ringman after those 3 successful years, I decided, okay, I was injured, I was after a major operation, so I decided, okay, what do we do next? I'm not just going to sit at home and twiddle my thumbs. I said, okay, I have too much information in my head, I need to get it out. So I just got on my computer, fished around, had a look at the cycle of what England were doing, had a look at the cycle of what Germany, Spain, Italy, what they were all doing. So I said, okay, and to be fair to the FEI here, they're looking to get it right as well. You can see that, you know, the way the younger players play. Could they play better? Yeah, I think they could. So could the first team. But look,
well, you know, it's you know, you can set out all the strategies and formation, do the best training. When you're in the job yourself, it's not that easy. You know, fellas are on the fence and they look outside and they're like, oh, you know, Jesus, you could do that, you could do. It's not that easy, as you can see. And that's something kind of you're aiming towards, is helping the coaches. So this is more of a book to coach the coaches.
That's exactly what it is, yeah. So what I wanted to do is that, you know, as I said, I looked around, I grabbed pieces from I won't say the continent, but around Europe, and I read into how they coach their kids, what way they coach the kids. So I decided, okay, I'll put something in place here where for a full academy in the town, so we say maybe from 8 years of age up to maybe 18, 19, that kind of way. Right, how do we do it? How do we go about it? So what I did here, I put and it's like this. Like, I just throw 1 or 2 things out there. If you can see it, I'll show you. Again, it's for the coaches. So look, you see the 8 to 11 year olds here. It showed coaching to develop and learning phase. So again, what that is that it's, I suppose, 8 to 11 year olds. I suppose people nowadays, I don't know, have they changed from 20 years ago in the sense of what to do with the kids. A lot of people I'd like to think would, but again, you still have these people that will come down and just run young lads around the pitch, no beneficial towards them whatsoever. So I decided, okay, right, I'm going to get this right. So obviously with Ringmahon being my club, I introduced it into them. And what we've done is that we used to come down on Wednesday and or is it Tuesday or Thursday, whichever night it was, but we take, say, the 7-a-sides, the 9-a-sides, the 11-a-sides. So just say, for heaven's sake, the 7-a-sides might be, again, the 8 to 11 year olds. So what we do, we get a system in place. We brought in a system into the club, into the schoolboys, which was a 4-3-3. We stripped that system down. In a sense, we developed the 7-a-side. So with that, we'd give them training sessions, again, developed exactly only for the 7-a-side. So we put them in situations in the training environment which would replicate come match day. So that when if a situation happened in training session and it happens in a match day, they're okay. They say, all right, I've seen this before. Now I'm comfortable in doing it. So with that, then with the book, it's very, very self-explanatory. It's for the coaches, but also what it done, it was that I suppose I wanted to put everybody on a kind of a level pair in a sense. Okay, I might come into the club again as playing League of Ireland, fantastic, great. But another guy might be over sitting across the way from me, and he might be saying, "Do you know, I'm a little bit unsure of myself here. You know, what do I do here? You know, he's over there. He's well above me." So what I wanted to do is put something in place for the for the coaches to say, okay, everybody's to work off these guidelines. Nobody's any different now. So what you do is I was given the training sessions, developed. So we work in a cycle of a month, so 4 weeks. So just if I haven't said for the 4 weeks, we'd concentrate on defending, but in a certain system, certain shape. You know, again, it wouldn't be so at 8 to 11. It wouldn't be massive into that system, but the sessions would be designed in fun ways and little games, even though the players might not understand it, but they'd be actually fall into the trap of learning how to play in a certain way. And then I suppose when it got to the 9-a-sides, the 11-a-sides, when you see 7-a-side into a 9-a-side, okay, what I was trying to implement is make the transition a lot easier, so that I know people play 4-4-2s and 4-5-1s or whatever they want to play, you know. So I said, look, we're going to stick with this system. It's a 4-3-3 and that's it. The reason being I picked that, I felt personally that it's the easiest system for young players to develop. And also what it is, it looked at the side of things where across Europe, that seemed to be the system what they were playing, that was the style. But again, it's opinionated. Other people might think different, but again, this was my way. So from the 7-a-side to the 9-a-side, what it was, if you think of 7 players on a pitch, and now you have to introduce 2 new players, where do they go? So what we did do, what we put in place is that we didn't interfere with the 7, we introduced 2 new players into the system. So then when it went to the 11, we didn't interfere with the 9 players in that position, we introduced 2 more. So the transition was very easy for the players to understand. So the knock-on effect was there come the end, and hopefully at the end of it then, when they get, I suppose, to the 11-a-sides up to, I suppose, 16, 17 years of age, hopefully they'll be adapted for the senior team then in Ringman Rangers, you know. And as I say, it goes through everything in the book. It goes through, you know, I suppose, giving information to the players, what they give players. So with this, it gives the coach an understanding of tell the players where to be, where not to be, when we're in possession, we're out of possession. You know, what systems if we're playing a 4-3-3 and we're playing against someone who has a 4-4-2. So in the presentations that I used to do on Tuesday or Thursday nights, whichever team I was with, we'd go through the strengths and weaknesses against that system, and then we give the coaches information. But the coaches then, they'd have to bring that information to training day and implement that to their team then. So it was trying to make everything easy. So if you were a coach now, and I came to you with this now and I said, okay, we're going to work off this, I think it'd be very easy for you to follow that, you know, especially with the training sessions that will come with it. So it was like a case, a lot of fellas were hectic, and you know, and it's very difficult to give up your time to manage players and teams, because look, nobody gets rewarded for it, to be fair, you know, you don't get paid or whatever, but you know what you can do is, or what I was hoping to do was that give the players, you know, or the coaches, coming in from work who are under pressure, listen, here's a training session from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever days you go down. Okay, here you have it. So just pick up a training session. Off you go down. So at the same time, he's not under too much pressure trying to make up a session and work, or the day before, whatever. It's there for him, and what's implemented is the right ways, what I feel, to develop players into better players.
Yeah, no, it's excellent, and it gives the coach an idea as well in what way to play. And some coaches, as you said, are like dads or volunteers filling in, and they don't have time to be doing sessions. They're just there to facilitate, and this gives them an idea and gives them maybe a bit of passion. And sometimes then they could like, oh, do you know what? I kind of get it. So I think it's excellent, and I think you've made it available, and I think there's clubs out there and they watch this. So are you available to come to them?
Well, as I say, I brought on board last year to the ringman. It was actually Keith Harrington. He was the schoolboy chairman ringman at the time. Unfortunately, he's gone now. He's caught up, I don't know, a work commitments or something else. But we started it. I thought it was going well. It got, unfortunately, it was kind of getting a little bit difficult with coaches trying to make it, because it was coming towards the Christmas period and they were caught up with things to do. So we said we get it going after Christmas again and through into the summer months. But I suppose there's just might be so much going on in the club at the moment. They haven't pushed on a little bit with it. So where they are with it at the moment, I'm not too sure. No, they might come back to me again, and we look to kick it on again. But yeah, absolutely. As I say, I don't just want to rest on my laurels and say, okay, it's for one club. It's I put a lot of work into it, a lot of thought into it. So absolutely, if there's a club and they want to get involved and they want to buy into this, absolutely, I have no problem speaking to the club and see if I can develop players for them as well. Well, help them.
And again, any coaches out there or any clubs, and you want to get on to us, and we'll get on to Kieran, and there's no bother there, because it's excellent information, and it's, again, new ideas, so you played the game. We'll take a few questions there now for anyone.
Twitter question by Aidan Foley. Who was the best player you have coached that didn't make it?
Who's the best player that you coached that didn't make it?
Oh.
Make it where? To like Lapland or something?
It's a good question, to be fair, that. Look, it's not a case that I'm trying to forget about anybody, but I suppose when you're put in a spot like this, it's hard to think.
It's like who's the best player you played with question?
Right. I'll put it this way, okay? There's, and nobody take offence, I suppose the likes of there's a left foot at the moment, and he's playing with ringman Jason Ford. No, unbelievable in my opinion. He's probably the best domestically, senior Leinster League, whatever you want to call it. I think he's the best left foot in the country. He had a stint with Cork City. In my opinion, he didn't get the opportunity, he didn't get the chance to I suppose show what he can do. So, and I know Jason's a young boy, because I had him at a younger level. He didn't get an opportunity to go to England. He did. He went to Everton, I think, as far as I know, a few clubs chasing him, but it didn't flourish that way. So I suppose kind of him really, and again, lads, if I forget anybody, it's not being disrespectful.
No, but like, look, that's just the way it is. One came to mind, but again, you look at players like Jason, or Jason's looking. He had a spell, he was in England, in Cork City, and now he's playing the Munster League, but he's still an established left back. And if in football there is still time. There's always still time, and he's a young lad as well. So hopefully he'll get to the highest he can in his career, because he is a good lad as well.
Another Twitter question by Alan Higgins. What was the best moment as the gaffer down in Ringmahon?
Best moment as the gaffer down in Ringmahon? There's probably loads of good moments.
Yeah, look, trying to pick one out of that is fairly difficult, But I suppose, look, definitely up there had to be the fact of winning the league, getting promoted to the Premier Division. But I suppose within the 3 years, you couldn't just name one, you'd have to name a few with it. So I suppose it goes to winning the Beamish Cup, winning the local Pop Keller Cup, getting promoted, semi-final Intermediate Cup, semi-final Munster Senior Cup. So again, there was lots there, but I suppose even at that, I felt that's more for the players. I think for me, my best moment, I suppose, is the fact of getting recognition, the team itself, those players getting recognition of being a really good, enjoyable football team to watch. And the reason being I say that is because a few past players, not past players, but players that I played with, I suppose for one would be Kevin Murray. He came up to me one day after the game. I think we played him in a league match down in Ringman Park. But he came up to me, and it was a great thing to say. He said, Riley, he said, look, he said, the way your players, the way your system, the way you're after coaching those players is fantastic, and you know, it's I suppose that's probably one of the best moments for me, in the fact that what we did develop down there was a fantastic footballing team, and you know, again, the results didn't come on their own. You know, they came from hard work, and I suppose a lot of coaching side hours went into that team. But I suppose that was it, really. You know, a lot of special moments.
Yeah, and as you said, the hours, we just spoke about it beforehand, just having a little meeting about the hours that go in, and there is a lot of hours, and you put in a lot of hours, and you deserved it. You get what you put in, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
Facebook question by Richard St. Ledger. What club is he taking over next year? And also, who does he think is going to win the Premier League?
Oh, what club are we taking over next year? Who's the highest bidder? Is it?
Well, I tell you now, to be fair, okay, that question was asked to me last year and again this year, and the way things were, I think I was linked nearly Barcelona this year. The way things were going, you know, everybody was expecting to go here. But look, I've been away from managing, as you say now, for nearly, this will be the second season away. I had a few opportunities this year, good clubs, to be honest, you know, but I just didn't feel I was ready for it. But next year, who knows? We'll see.
What in future tell who's thinks going to win the Premier League? I know he's going to say here, isn't they're not.
Do you know? No, it's early days, but I suppose look, it's not a case of being biased. I'll call it as it is, but I suppose when you look at the strength and depth that Ringman has, it's kind of hard at the moment to look beyond them, you know.
Yeah. We'll go with that one. I thought you were going to say Chelsea, go to the English Premier League, but you went there.
Mervyn O'Connor said, "Made me the player I was, and thanks for the memories."
Yeah, it took about 2 minutes to make him the player he was. Yeah, he's that good.
There's also a question: what was your best goal?
What was your best goal?
All right. Jesus, tough one again. I suppose when you think back, I suppose it'd have to be with Coven, yeah. Do you know, there actually is one that sticks out in my mind. It was actually on that league run. If I can remember right here now. I'm have to mention Kevin Murray again. The reason me to mention Kevin is because we were playing Shells. It was up in Talca Park, and I was on that a fantastic league run. We were going. I think it was coming towards the 4th or 5th last game of the season, of the 2007 season, where we were 1-0 down, and Graham Cummins was playing alongside me. I think. Yeah, he was. And what happened was that Kevin Murray he was, for whatever reason, he didn't play that game. Was it through injury or whatever? But we were 1-0 down, and I remember the ball came across again. Could have been from Alan Carey, something good boy to put a ball in. But anyway, the ball came to me, and you know, I took around the keeper the time for Shells, and he saved it. But I got the rebound, I stuck it in, and I know Graham Cummins, I think he got the winner that day. But the reason me and him saying that is because Kevin Murray came up to me after us, and he goes, fuck, and he says, you know, and he goes, that could be the one that was going to get us over the line towards the end of the season. And to be fair, you know, if we didn't get the results that day or any other day, you know, if we didn't go on a 27 unbeaten run, then we wouldn't have won the league. So that goal was very important. It was a goal that had to be got. 1-0 down up in Talca Park. I mean, come on, there's not many teams that come back from that, you know. So that'll be the one to stick out to me. Yeah.
Fair play to Kevin Murray. He's always around at the right time. Is he? He's going to be outside here. I said that was a great interview there, Riley.
Special.
Ian Barrett has asked, did Kieran ever get sent off in his career?
Jeez.
Do I even need to answer that, do I? Yeah, but I think a lot of referees always got it wrong, you know.
We had the refs on the show last week. They didn't get it wrong, right? Yeah, but if you talking on that question, if you're talking to younger players now, obviously we went through it. We got the red cards. What would you say?
Well, I suppose everybody knows there's the walk of shame. There's nothing worse. But no, look, it doesn't do any favours. Look, there's no doubt about that. Not for the fact that you're letting your team down there and then on the day. Not for the fact that you're going to be out for whatever the reason being. You're sent off is out one game, you get 3 games, whatever. But at the same time, you're putting yourself under pressure here now again to get back into the team. So listen, again, for maybe the one time that I did get sent off, all right, I'd say, listen, and I'm the one to preach here. It's a question I can't believe I haven't been asked this, not even answering it in the first place. But look, Just keep a cool head and you'll be all right.
That's what I say now as well. Do you know, keep a cool head, respect the ref.
Well, you have to say that now, you're managing.
Paul Higgins says most underrated player in MSL.
The most underrated player in MSL.
Jesus.
They all love themselves, so there's no underrated fella there.
Get underrated. Jesus.
Underrated, I'm trying to think of that myself.
I don't know. You can answer that.
The most underrated player. I haven't seen the the MSL that much. I'd say to see every player. I don't think anyone's not spoke about. I suppose.
Underrated.
Do you know who not spoke about and has actually with Ringman there, just as you say it, because I don't think he was called up to the Irish amateurs, or maybe there's a reason why, but I don't know him that well, or the MSL squad. He wasn't involved in any of the friendlies. The lad plays centre half for Ringman. Is it Manny? Is it?
Maddie?
Maddie
Noah Cisa. Yeah, Maddie. Look,
lovely player.
Maddie's probably one of the best centre backs in the league. There's no doubt about that. But I suppose, was it? What was the question again? Was it under what? Underrated? Jesus, I wouldn't underrate Maddie anyway. Not a chance. I wouldn't underrate anybody from you, man.
I speak to anywhere, like, you know, not. I've seen him. I've seen him a couple of times playing. I thought he was very good, and then I spoke to people. They're kind of wouldn't even put him in the same conversation as the best centre half in the league. You know,
I suppose there's a lot of players in the league don't get recognition what they should be getting. You know, but as an underrated, I'd rephrase that in the sense of putting as recognition. But when you look the likes of, I suppose, Philly Keane there, right full for Ringman again. I suppose, look, I can only go off Ringman because, you know, I've worked with them. I see what they can do. But Philly Keane is definitely. Again, I suppose one of the best right fulls around. You know, you could put Philly anywhere. When I had him, I think the only place I didn't play Philly was on goal. You know, and I have no doubt if I put Philly on goal, he did on the job as good a job as he would. Any other position on the pitch, but you got to Philly. I don't know. Look, it's a hard one.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Do you know a Gary McSweeney who is asking, will you sign for City next year? He'd still do a job.
Which one of us? Gary. Water.
Yeah, I know Gary very well. Yeah, Gary is definitely, like, he's probably the most. What is he? The most Cork City biggest fan ever out there. But unfortunately, yeah, my days are gone. You know.
I actually saw Gary on
40s team or something like that.
Saw Gary at the Bows game last week. He looked cold, guys. I have to get a bigger jacket.
There's plenty of other questions as well, but they're
oh, right. He was afraid of this. He was going to get a few friendly ones.
There's a few lads out there discussing not being answered, but that's the way it goes, boys.
It's a serious football show here, like.
Yeah.
Plenty of people watching. Colm O'Mahony, Ivan Sexton, Frank McCall, Ross Moynihan, Paul Deasy, Nigel Murray, and plenty more. So.
Oh, very good. They're all watching in. Just speaking, on the league, the Munster Senior League. Like, do you think it's getting better, as in more athletic, more professional, with the coaching coming in now as well? And, you know, there are the badges, and a lot of guys are into doing them. And, you know, as you said, we're putting in more hours, whereas probably turn up before, and, you know, the team is on a fag box.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, on a Benson and Hedges.
Benson.
There's actually no. I suppose when you go into that side, that question, I think that question's popped up a lot recently, isn't it? Well, not recently, but over the last 2 years, I'd imagine. Is the game developing? It's 100%. You look at players nowadays, and even their physique, the physicality side of things, you know, they're lean, they're fit, they're strong, they're looking after the nutrition side of things, and you know, when it comes down to the side of things, it's not a case that one person's only doing it. The whole team has to do it, but I think the whole team has to do it now because of that one person doing it. So if just that you're a midfielder, centre back in your day, okay. But if you're playing nowadays and you see a fella alongside you and he's putting in the effort in the gym and he's training, it's a knock-on effect. You're not going to sit back and say, "Yeah, sure, you know what? Oh, fucking, I'll get my game." That's not the way, you know. So I think it's a knock-on effect that everybody nowadays is looking to get fitter, looking to get stronger, wants to play. So the game, it's taking off. It's getting more professional. You can see that in the way clubs are setting themselves up. You know, how clubs are. I suppose the facilities wise and everything, they're now bringing in physiotherapists. I know when I was at Ringman, we brought in a physiotherapist, we brought in strength and conditioning. Like there's no, you're doing the same as well as, I don't know, are most managers doing it? I'd imagine they are. If they're not, then they should be doing it that way, you know. And the coaching side of things, I think the coaching and analysis is now becoming is going to become a big thing, if not already becoming a big thing, because it was a big part of me when I was managing. I love the analysis side of things. So when you look around the results now, the league is very tight. You know, there's not many goals, much of a difference between teams. Like yes, I suppose yourselves in Ringman last week, it was a 3-2 game. You know, fantastic game. But again, you know, you can see the margins that they're not that big between teams, and that comes down to the side of things of, you know, everybody's fit. But again, they're not just going to get fit for by themselves. They need people around them that's going to keep them ready. And I suppose with your background and what other clubs out there, they're talking to their players. They're introducing these nutritionists, strength and conditioning, double sessions. I heard you done a double session there.
Sport gets around, doesn't it?
A couple of weeks back, you know. So again, you know, this professionalism is starting to creep in, and it's and you know what? It's only for the good of the game, and rightly so.
Yeah, and as you said, there's massive opportunity. Like we've a couple of young lads there now, even a Cove, and they're in much better condition than I ever was in at that age, you know. And they're on it, they're on their game, they're in the gym, they've got this strength and condition available, they got the nutrition available to them. And again, we're trying to just let them realise their potential and how far they could go, because I suppose what we're trying to get across as well, that England is not the be all and end all, that there is other opportunities, like there's American scholarships, as you said, there's massive opportunity even for the local, the amateur Irish league there now that they have, or the Michael Ward squad. It's recognition for the players, and you never know what might come out of it, like, for them.
Absolutely. I suppose, look, all these things are a bonus now, these Irish amateur teams, these Michael Wars tournaments, what have you, you know. But yeah, I suppose, as I said earlier on, you know, it's a knock-on effect. You know, if you see someone that's in your position and they're conditioned well, you're gonna try better at that, and rightly so. I know you should win that. But again, I suppose, also side of things, I think players don't do it anymore for the sake of football. They're doing it for the look of themselves. You know,
Instagram.
Yeah, you know, that bit of vein inside him. You know that.
I think that is kind of catching on a small bit, alright. And as you said, they're maybe a lot of them are top heavy, and then, you know, the legs kind of aren't there to concentrate more on the legs, really. I suppose a footballer needs to be strong from here down. And one thing I will say to footballers out there watching the show is that if you go to any English club and you see the players over there, they're like lads, but they're strong lads. Yeah. They're so skinny and toned, but they probably look like Ronaldo probably looks really big and ripped on TV screens or in magazines or on Instagram. But if you see Ronaldo right up close to you, and if you ever see him as a player on a pitch, he is like a lad. He's so skinny, like, but the muscles are defined. And that's one thing I'd say. And you've probably seen it even going over to Preston, your young lads over there now at the moment. And that's another kind of mentorship you're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose, look, yeah, Adam's been over in England now. He's there. I suppose it's the second season there, you know. But since the day he left it to him now, the difference physicality wise is astronomical. It's huge, you know. You can see, as you say, they're checked with their body fats, they're checked with muscle definition, they're tracked. So there's a big difference nowadays in players, you know. Yeah,
and even just on that, I'd say, like, when I went to England as well, it made me jump a huge difference in a year or two with physicality, but I was miles behind. You know, and you're miles behind fitness, and it does take you that time to catch up. And then when you're pushing your body like that, that's kind of when you come into trouble. So the Irish clubs out there now as well, they're getting a bit better, but I don't know if they're still there yet. Like, I don't mean to be saying it, but a player at a club that I saw was going to the chipper after the game. That just wouldn't happen in the UK. Like, you know, and I know it's just chips or whatever, like, or what, but there is still that.
No, and do you know, I suppose, I don't know, what level was that? You know, was it under 12s?
It was the highest level in this country, like.
Okay, look, I suppose.
But you're talking about young players here now who, like, you know, want to be making it to the top level. Yeah. You know, you've got to sacrifice it. Like, it's, you look at. Yeah, look.
You do, you know, and I suppose when you mention that there, I just go back to when I took over Ringman that time. It was something that we really hit on, you know. the recovery side of things after games. And what he said to the players, that look, you know, your body's at demand here, you know, we're going to be pushing you hard, and you're going to be training hard, and you know, we put a few boundaries in place of drinking and things like that, you know, because again, at the end of the day, you have to realise these players are giving up their time for free, you know, so they have to have some bit of life. But at the same time, the players, I can only vouch for the players that I had, we brought in the side of things where there was no drinking nearly 4 days before a game, you know, and to be fair to the boys, they didn't, and that's where they got the rewards. But the big side of things was that the nutrition we hit in that was that when they finished training, they had to have something afterwards. So would it be a protein shake, would it be those chocolate milk drinks, would it be a sandwich, something, they had to have something, you know. So again, what it did, it took them away from the fact, because you know yourself, when you finish training, you're hungry, and you do crave a lot of, you know, crap food, to be honest. So if you can get that proper food straight into after training, it's only going to benefit Jan, it's only going to benefit your condition.
Yeah, no, again, there's plenty of advice out there.
Yeah.
But just on you've been going over a few times to Preston, see him play, and what, like, obviously he's at the 21s level over there.
No, he's
coming in around the senior, but he's
with the youths. No, he's only with the youths. They don't have a 21s there. I think their philosophy there is that if you don't have a 21s, then if you're playing 21s over there, you should be playing first team.
I thought they went away and broke like to 21s or 23s to give the lads that step in from youths that weren't good enough yet to go into the seniors.
No,
that was definitely there a couple of years ago.
Yeah, maybe it was, but yeah. I think they took it out for the simple reason being, if you're at that age and you're not in the first team, then you're no good. So, but Adam at the moment, yeah, he's captain of the youths team there since last year. So, look, he was only there 6-7 months at the time when he first went last year. He was only 16. Look, he's only a child, I suppose, but he was brought straight onto the first team. He was on the bench against Wolves. But at the moment now, he's in around the first team. He trains with them nearly every day. Yeah, so. And that's where he is, you know. So he's just waiting, and if he gets an opportunity, he's good. But if he doesn't, you know, he's good heading him. He's just focused on when it does happen, you know.
Yeah, and look, he's got a good role model in you anyway to keep him guided. And the lads over there, you know, you've got Brownie there, and is the centre half still there? Boyd, he's gone, is he? He's
out on loan now. But you'd have Shawnee Maguire there. Shawnee be around Adam a bit, to be fair, you know. Yeah. And you'd have Burkey, but not just the Irish boys, to be fair, you know. I think he's got a good understanding with a lot of first team players, no matter what nationality they are, you know. I think because Adam's been young, he's probably the youngest up there, you know. Looking after him, like. They do, but at the same time, you know, as you know very well, it's a cutthroat business, and they're not just going to say, "I should go love him here," you know. They're going to hit you hard. So, and you know, he hits hard as back. He's
a nice fella, but keep down a while till as they're always biting at your toes.
Darren, I was definitely on about Riley. We wouldn't have the funds to keep paying your suspensions when he came back playing.
So who did he ask about the red card? Was it you, was it? It should have been you.
I got way too many red cards. You know, when I stopped getting red cards, actually, when I went to England, I was always kind of wild in challenges. So
no, you weren't.
I got sent off over there. They fined me 2 weeks' wages. I never got sent off again.
There you have it. Hit him in the pocket, hits hard, don't they?
You know, can we find the lads here for getting red cards? Never see it. But no, look, brilliant. Is there any more questions on the board?
Yeah, there's another one. If you had, this could be a long one though. If you had your time again, what would you do differently?
Yeah, that's a good one. So,
I suppose
if you could go back and speak to young Riley, they're now 15, 16, you know, and just on the brink of going to Cove, and
you know, no, I suppose not for the fact that I didn't, but I'd have definitely taken football a little bit more serious than what I did, you know. If I knew now, as you say, back then, I'd have had my body in shape. I'd have, I suppose, analysed opposition teams as a young player, because again, okay, when you go to the clubs in England, that's what they're doing at this age. They're doing that at 9 years of age, 10 years of age. You know, I've seen it in the clubs that I've been over to, with Adam on trial. So I've seen how it works. So if I had an opportunity of getting into that environment again as a young player, and I'd say to them, listen, get your nutrition right, look after your body, and train hard, and that's it really. But I suppose, look, you've got to enjoy it too, you know, and look, and that's what's about, yeah.
Yeah, no, excellent advice. But look, cheers for all the questions, and that's another night, and it was a pleasure to have you, and hopefully fellas get onto your book because it's brilliant and I love your passion and you're always a good bloke. Cheers, Rosie. Cheers.